But there are alternatives that we would be looking at in case it becomes hard or impossible to get this data fast.
For manifest request, you meant like have an alarm if you can set a threshold to say a particular.
That's one of the thoughts around looking at number of manifest requests being made over a period of time, and if it exceeds a certain number that you say, then we can take some actions based on that.
It could trigger something,
Right.
or it could be a similar API to this, but it's not actually delivery usage. It's like concurrent streams or something like that. Maybe you could query for top concurrent streams. And,
But you would have a server side indeed, so that would be good. Yeah, because those kind of things we have those analytics, but that's player dependent.
So if you have those in your analytics for, then why do you need the backend data?
It's for the non-player use case.
Of course, okay.
So once the
Got it.
bad actor figures out, like, oh, if I just use it with video.js, then I can stream infinitely. Then word gets out, and thanks, Steve.
Yeah. Well, let's talk
Yeah,
about
let's talk
that.
about
Yeah.
I think overall though, it's not like, oh my God, we can't work with you guys. Because,
Right.
Deal though.
yeah.
No,
But even like the next, the first thing after we sign this thing, you got to work on this. You get this
for
thing
sure.
to 2 hours, because that's.
But we want to take your feedback, and we want you to push us with what you need, because
Yep.
it's helpful feedback for us. If you're thinking about it, probably other people are also thinking about it.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah. Well, again, same on the VOD side, and there we have varying. It varies from streaming on the Fastly side to. I don't know. Like I think Akamai gives us printouts every day. Or something.
It comes in the mail.
It comes in the mail. It comes with fax. Like you get your daily usage.
Question is, how do you today detect that? Do you just buy the logs that browser gives you, or do you have other mechanisms today to detect?
Wowza, Wowza logs. So we use the Wowza usage logs as well. They have a 24-hour delay, and that delay made us take the live stream out of the.
Okay.
Maybe there's other ways. There's other things to mitigate the issue as well. Like limit free live streams or those kind of things. Collect the credit card up front.
Yeah.
That's always helpful.
But then, do you validate those credit cards at all? Do you validate those credit cards or?
Well, if we're going to collect them up front, we're probably going to validate them with a 1 cent payment. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll continue to work. I think both directions, reducing the turnaround time for the current delivery usage, and then see if there are other alternatives we can expose that can take some action based on that, which is more closer to real time.
Yep, and then we should keep you in the loop on whatever developments we have in that area.
And probably, I guess, from experience, after a couple of years, you can figure out patterns that indicate abuse. No.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Type of credit card, location of ingests.
You can, but they're good at it. It's a business.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
They're really
Very sophisticated.
Yeah. Stripe is not helping us.
Yeah.
Stripe is like, it looks legit to me. So
Okay.
right. Cool.
It's the whack-a-mole.
It's definitely
So once we get back from IPC, we'll send you a documentation of the
That would be
API,
nice,
and then enable it on your accounts, and then you can try it out. Let me know.
Yep.
And we are all on Slack, so if you are not, we can invite you.
Anything else in the data you saw? Is the data you saw there the data that you?
I think this is what we can use. I need to validate, of course, the pass through data has been nice because it allows us to link some information on our accounts. Because basically we group all of our accounts into one big bucket on your end, no?
Right.
And we have to have a way of filtering that out. So
More cooking.
I
Keep going.
thought that was a reaction. I was like, after the group you're closing it, you're like, no, you're not allowed.
We'll do it times 1.2.
Jerome and my very sophisticated algorithm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is something. Yeah. It's not critical.
Yeah. if we don't have it, then we also don't have to have the conversations.
Sorry.
Yeah. The reason we do minutes, not bytes, is we want to drive optimization of
No,
coding.
you're absolutely.
And so
we want to.
if we ship something that's dropping our bit rates by 10%, then your revenue drops by 10% if you're charging on bytes, which we know kind of sucks for you.
No,
so
it's been a source.
you can choose.
It's been a source.
You could put an abstraction in front of it and say this is our static ladder, quote unquote, to multiply it out by your minutes or something. But
No, we want to try to make it time-based.
Yeah.
What we are doing as well, yeah.
On the VOD,
Gigabytes
yeah.
is so dumb. It disincentivizes us to make.
yeah.
To roll out VP9 and
Don't
Yeah.
save money.
Yeah. New and improved 15 megabit per second speed.
Now with 20% more bytes.
That's one reason why we don't do VP9 at scale. We need half the data. Okay, so
Yeah.
we can't do bytes. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
Restream?
Restream. It's Restream.
Let's do this.
All passwords are in.
All ridiculous passwords are in. But we don't have it documented or actually public, so nobody knows about it, but we can actually test it here in production. This is the request body that I created. Don't remember my stream key, please, and start streaming on my...
I'm going to send it to the Premier League.
Stream on my Twitch account. Yeah. So...
4, 5, 6, 9, 9, 9, EX.
We've introduced basically a key here, simulcast targets, which is an array of objects that you can include. We've limited it to 4 today. It's kind of an artificial cap. We have a little bit more understanding to, well, we have a little bit more optimization to do on our side to make sure that we're scaling our ingest servers well for the restreams. We think the limit is actually like much higher than that, but like to start, we're capping it for.
Yeah. Let's bookmark pricing for this to talk about it again. I don't know what we're talking about there, but yeah.
Okay.
Because that's a limit thing, yeah.
Cool. So I have 4 different stream keys and URLs up here. You can see I have one to Twitch, I have one to Facebook, I have a YouTube, and Periscope. These services or whatever service they're using, like it would need to be changed, right?
Yeah, we need to change input.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, indeed.
There will be webhooks for those events when something errors out with us.
Correct. That's the one last piece actually that we are building out in here. We had a lot of debate internally around how to design our basically like child resource API and how to expose that information. Yeah, we're in the process of building the webhooks that will alert you basically all the status updates for individual simulcast targets so that you can, you'll know when each one is created, deleted, or if an error happens, and also when they're connecting or disconnected. So there's kind of 2 ways you can use the API. One would be track every single individual simulcast target on your own side, and so you can like show errors for specific ones to the user. Yep. The other way would just be to listen for updates for the parent live stream, because we'll send an updated event for that anytime that something happens to the simulcast target. So an option there. Cool. So you create the live stream, and then anytime that you push to our playback ID here, you'll get, let me go back to the live stream itself. Yeah, you'll get both the stream from Mux, an HLS URL that you can play that's streaming through the Mux CDNs, and then we're also pushing a separate RTMP stream out to all these different services. So you can see I'm just streaming the desktop here, but you can see this is the Mux version of the video, which I'm very surprised that any of this is playing on the network here. But then I can.
That was horrible.
I know I'm on the Rye Wi-Fi. But okay, so here's Facebook. Yeah, it's repeating it. It's about let's see, this is, I don't have our reduced latency mode turned on for this one, so it's probably like 25 to 30 seconds latency by default. We have a reduced latency mode that drops that to be between 8 and 14, depending on the player. Just, shortens the segments down to 2 seconds, shortens the kind of streamlines the bytes from our ingest to the end, and until there's a little bit more agreement on the low latency standards for Apple and LHLS and Dash, like we're waiting for that kind of agreement to kind of extend out to further low latency into the client.
Yeah, but that should not impact the restreaming, right? Because that's just directly forwarding the RTMP.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Actually, that's true.
Yeah.
Actually, that's true. There shouldn't be latency here. Now that I think about that, because we are.
This is just all Facebook.
What's that?
Any latency is just Facebook's problem, I guess. Whatever they do.
We'll introduce a little bit, but I don't know.
But also, I think
like a second or two.
so all the restreams will go whatever Facebook and the platform does. So I think we're also using our live stream infrastructure.
John, your mouse is not set to the way my mouse is set.
What's wrong with my mouse?
Okay. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What? I don't know. Yeah, you can see it like in here. So.
What did it say 305?
Oh, it's no.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's certainly not like immediate.
But they have some sort of LHLS thing going on.
It's a live screen mirror. The 11 up there.
Well, it moved over like 4 seconds later,
Yeah.
and then the time is off by 6 minutes.
Maybe-
6 minutes.
Whoa.
I have no idea what's going on there.
It's possible that this has just stopped
You-
recording the
Yeah,
video.
You
It's
probably
like
have some
static
sort of
image.
static screenshot or something like that.
I mean, it shouldn't be. Maybe it just stopped
Display capture
recording.
versus window capture? I don't know.
Window capture. I don't know. I'm afraid to like mess with OBS
Oh,
right now.
Does the red line mean the red line means it's only capturing the applications and it's not capturing the toolbar?
Yeah,
maybe?
this was 10 seconds.
Oh, so it's
But I think there's a lot of things.
there's all that. Sorry, this
with
is
that network. So
this demo needs some work. So.
This is what most of your users are doing. Dragging panels around.
Yeah, I mean, you can see like, and there's both the delay from our service. There should be very little delay from our RTMP stream to Facebook, but then obviously there's delay from them playing it back in their UI, right?
Yeah,
Like,
they're doing all their transcoding and stuff.
yeah, so here's Twitch playing the same exciting video.
Are there 8 people watching?
Apparently. Watching Jonathan Dahl drag a window around the screen.
That makes me wonder how real all the social view counts are. 17 robots and 1 human are watching.
Oh, goodness.
Don't put anything confidential.
Yeah, here's Periscope.
And how do you build? You build the stream targets when you're not. I presume it's like on put and on. When you create the live stream, you can set up the targets, and when you edit them in offline, when they're off air. But when they're on air, you can muck with them because then
Correct.
you're busy. Then stuff gets locked.
Right, we block you from changing in the details
Yeah.
of those. You can't edit individual live streams through the API. Like they have a direct API to a direct route to each simulcast, but yeah, you can't change anything about those details while it's streaming.
Would it be halfway my cooking? We love the pass-through thing. Would that be possible per stream key? For if I'm thinking about our UI, I'd love to be able to not just set the server key and the URL, but also a user settable title. This is my Facebook thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is my.
Is there metadata in the syndication targets?
There is, so philosophically, we try and stay away from being anything that's close to a CMS. Like we draw the line at things that like start to look like, we even like for our assets, like we don't like have a space for title or anything like that, because as soon as we,
Beautiful pass-through thing.
yes. So that is our like one caveat there, right? And you can drop, I forget what our limit is, but you can drop a JSON object in there that you can then parse from your own side and store as much as you can fit in that side of things. Beyond that, we do try and stay away from like specifics around like title and stuff that then like open the door for more requests around like additional metadata details. So like if it, give us feedback as you're integrating. If it's like a super pain in the ass to not be able to store that information with each simulcast target, like we want it to be a good developer experience and still be able to like to build interfaces on top of this, while also kind of like riding this line of like trying not to become the CMS side of things, right? So feedback.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably we can do without it. Let's see what happens.
Are there other ways
with customers?
You can use workflow to give a title into a Twitch event?
To get into a Twitch event.
Passing the metadata through Mux.
For us?
Yeah, for you or your customers.
We could, but I think right now we're kind of passing all the stuff through with these pass-throughs on a live stream
that how
on an event level, which we like. No, but we're leaving the Wowza thing. We essentially have an entire service. Wowza massively over-engineered thing. We just leave it running, and we're building a completely new one that is we're building around you guys.
Yeah, we're not just swapping out.
And then we can just slowly transition over to customers, and we don't have to do like the hot potato thing.
But Wowza does syndication, or it's a simulcast, right?
Simulcast.
When Wowza does simulcast, can you send a title to Periscope?
No.
You can't.
I think
So
I don't
you
think
have your own
Periscope.
architecture you got.
Yeah, I don't
Our
think
own stuff routed.
Right. I don't know. Like when I'm setting this up, like Facebook, Periscope, they all make me enter the title as I'm creating the live stream itself. Like I haven't seen an API yet to
You
send
probably
the
have to
title.
integrate with their API, then create it from our end, then get that stream key and RTP ingest URL, and then pass that on to you guys.
And then that kind
only
of
for us internally. It's only for in the dashboard. So when somebody logs into the dashboard, who is let's say the developer sets up the live stream, and that's a one-time thing. So the live stream is ready, and then the editor goes in, looks at analytics, looks at some clips, and he opens the stream tabs, and then he sees a bunch of RTMPS / blah blah blah, and they're like, ooh.
yeah.
I don't know what this is. This can probably go or something. It's weird data.
I don't know that you could even get down to the title level just because of that idea of the persistent stream key. Like you don't know which title it might be. Like they can stop streaming, start streaming again, but you could at least show like the username or something like that.
We can. We can do something creative too. Filter out the domain name, capitalize it, or something like that.
And I think whenever the user is actually entering RDMP and stream key in your platform, I think they only made the API call.
Yes.
And at that time, they must have set all the titles and whatnot.
Yep.
Are your users ever going to be calling our APIs?
No.
Not directly.
Do they call your APIs, which calls our APIs, or
Yeah.
do you use your UI to generate these things?
Well, basically our dashboard is built on top of our API, so everything that our dashboard does
You do
goes
it
through our
either
API.
way.
Yeah.
But can they access it either way?
Not all API endpoints are documented, but in theory, yes.
I mean, I would assume
Somebody
your
can
UI,
reverse engineer it.
you would just have a drop down that's like add Periscope, and then you'd add some
Yes.
fields there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go through. They're not seeing our API to add Periscope.
No.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could like, you can use the pass through however you want, and you can actually update that pass through, like while it's not streaming. So actually, if you wanted to like shove title in there and like update it anytime they like create a new event, you could like, basically use our pass through field. There'll be a pass through for every single simulcast target also. So
we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out on our end.
Cool.
I'm not sure what I would do right now for us. It's more the best for now. Using it is more just to be able to retrace which account a certain asset belongs to, which is most important from our end. And then we have our data store, of course, that we keep track of the metadata.
Yeah, you
So-
can basically generate whatever metadata in JSON and that will pass through, and that could have account information, stream information, simulcast target information.
Yeah. The switching over from the pass through is one of the tricky things in switching over. As with Wowza, we're currently passing through the 720p encode, which on the one hand, the majority of our customers are giving feedback that they don't want that. They want the original, so everywhere it's high quality. But on the other hand, you never know what might break if customer XYZ goes from the Wowza based to Mux based, and like, you know, whatever they have in there in code triggers an issue on Facebook or YouTube or etc. So
Yeah.
we have a bunch of these kind of like hairy things when we're kind of migrating customers over, and this is one of the hairy ones.
Okay.
I believe JWS provides some recommendations around input streams.
Yep.
And is there a similar recommendations, like you basically point them to, if you're planning to restream to Facebook, look at this one while sending the stream in, or does Wowza automatically transcode it down to meet the Facebook requirements?
Yeah, we provide one recommendation to our customers.
Yeah.
And then we pick the 720p transcode because at that time, when we built the service, Facebook only accepted 720p.
Right.
So essentially, we
Periscope.
kept.
Periscope is still limited there.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
So we kept everything at 720.
720 Periscope.
It's 720 or lower actually. It might be lower, but
Does Wowza track?
So we with Wowza currently, the only option that our customers have is a restream of the 720p encode.
Right. Really.
For every platform.
Everybody. So
Yeah,
you
we don't
get
even
you
really
get 720p for everybody, which all our customers are like, we need 1080p for YouTube.
So you can sell the migration here. Like they might have to do a
Yes.
validation, but you could sell it as a improved quality.
Yes,
correct?
indeed, improved
But
quality.
then we got to figure out what about Periscope.
assuming they're using Periscope. If they're not using Periscope, like, then it,
currently
yeah.
don't offer Periscope as a restreaming.
Okay, well there you go.
No, we have live customers using
Okay.
Periscope. Yeah. We grab them from the
But
But it's not in the
analytics.
dashboard though.
It's not a like a dedicated like icon and help text in the dashboard, but Periscope is in the top
You can
3.
add any RTM.
Because it's Facebook, it's YouTube is number 1, Facebook 2, Periscope 3, and Twitch 4. And then it's all kinds of kind of internal thingies, and
Yeah.
you have these little restreaming mini services out there, like restream.io or kidstreamy.io,
Oh.
or like all those kind of weird things.
Here's one other weird thing. Today we have a limit where you can't restream from Mux to Mux because you could easily create like an infinite loop there. So that's fine, but like if we ever power Periscope, that we would work around this if that ever happened. But it's something just to to watch for. Does that make sense?
What? How does that come into play?
What if one of the crazy little restreaming targets for a JW customer is also using Mux? Today we would not allow that.
Okay.
We talked about lots of solutions to this, and we'll solve it when we need to.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that will pop up.
We
Yeah.
will get a sane error message notifying us about this. Like,
I have to double check what the exact message is, but it'll basically error out. But I'll come back on
so
the error
that's,
message.
if that's the case, then we can notify.
Yeah, we tend to solve that before it ever becomes an issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
The easiest way would be just looking at the RTMP.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
would be
Exactly.
easy.
It'd be
Yeah.
you can just like you probably don't want JW to JW, right?
Yep.
Do you allow that scenario?
Yeah, people do that. Don't ask me why, but I know like syndication from one account to the other. But that has
Interesting.
happened. But it's like one or two events. It's
So-
whatever time frame I looked up for you.
Yeah.
There was like one or two events
Yeah.
there.
That'd be problematic. for
So
us.
that would error out,
Yeah.
and then
But
Yeah, that's
do they
fine.
do it within the bigger account, like within organization type thing, or is it like across different?
I did not look
Okay.
into exactly which keys they were. Where
It's
it was.
probably, it's most likely property.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
give us a
Good to know.
business case if it's
Yeah, it's,
Indeed,
it's
yeah.
more of a safety mechanism for us, but like
and for you, like you
Yeah.
you don't want to incur infinite costs.
Well, again,
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that we have customers that have multiple properties and that want to
Yeah,
basically
so
simulcast on the same
we'll
multiple
see
properties.
that
Yeah.
when it happens.
Yep.
Okay.
Quick question on, like, while every platform has the different requirements in some ways to restream, like Periscope being the lower one. Do you ever see the need to actually block when they are not meeting those? Or right now we don't do. I'm just curious whether just enforce a blocking mechanism.
Yeah, there's a couple of things, a couple of answers. We probably want to give people those advices when they on start.
Sure.
One of the things that I think you and I had a quick discussion about is how can we get a little bit more insights into the uplink. Either streaming information or webhook-based information. So if you go to YouTube, you're streaming on YouTube, you get a like red, green, green, yellow, red thing. Yeah. That's our number one. Our number one support problem is customers not setting things up correctly, and then us having to dig up what they did not set correctly, keyframe interval, etc., etc. That's where I would see the if you're on the one hand you're sending in a 4K, and on the other hand you want to send it to Periscope, then we can trigger an error there, like hey, you have 4K which is incompatible with Periscope. Yeah.
So we have the start of something that could be used there, which is like, so for every asset we create, we give back input file info.
Settings would have it, the track information.
No, the input file info for the asset itself.
That's after the event, right? Or is that?
No, this is live.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could basically grab the active asset for the live stream, dig into the track details. Like this is a little bit overhead, but like dig into the track details, and then we could build kind of like a matrix to understand what's matching. But
but you can only do that once the stream is live.
Yeah,
correct.
You can do that anyway
because
after the RCMP is sending. So this is fine, and then at least we know what's going on. Yeah, this is pretty. The issues are the biggest issue seems to be incorrect keyframe intervals, where there's massive keyframe intervals.
And Periscope was sensitive about that too. They said 6 frames per second or less is their cap, and so OBS default was apparently more than that.
And that's what I want to put a caveat to this one is when we are getting a stream in, we are passing it through we're restreaming it, and it's also going through our pipeline.
This
will be a slightly transcoded version of that.
This is not this is the output. This is output data, is not the input data. But that would be in general. I would assume that you would be hearing that from other kind of like OEM style customers. The other thing regarding just restreaming in general is like if you really want to do, for us the restreaming is more of a convenience.
Makes sense.
Or you want to quickly, we are JW Player, and conceptually JW Player is for your owned and operated. We don't care about your social. You go do your social stuff elsewhere. But we have a couple small things, like we can send a file to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and we can restream a stream to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. But if you want to do like XYZ with metadata to all those guys, there's Grabyo, there's Telio, there's all these companies that do that really well with additional logos and other kind of things. That's where you should go.
Makes sense.
So for us, it's we are also not planning to do much in that area to build that.
Sounds good.
Makes sense.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I think as we finish the webhook work, we'll enable it for you. Hopefully that should happen later this week or early next week, but you should be able to test it and review the API after that. And then give us feedback and see how it goes.
Cool. Are you guys fine with talking about a couple of things, or are you busy? There's a couple of like more like a couple of feature requests and a couple of and just a quick update on 24/7. I think because on the 24/7 side we have